Good morning. It is 6:22 a.m. on Thursday, November 7th, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. My hair's kind of all over the place today, huh? Just what was I saying? I said the whole bit about this is 5 more minutes, right? Yeah. So I finally got back to the gym yesterday after a gap of too long. It was something where I'd been going pretty regularly, but then getting ready to go to my on my Acadia National Park trip. I kind of didn't slip back into the routine after that trip. For a little while, it felt like, well, the trip was a lot of hiking and exercise, so that kind of counts. But then uh, the amount of time since that trip has extended beyond the point where it made any sort of sense to use that as an excuse still. So, eh. And then, I was getting ready for extra life, and that felt like a reason somehow to not go to the gym. In any event, went back to the gym yesterday. I'm going to have to try to get used to the new routine. Certainly, this was the first time where I'm arriving there and leaving with the sun down. Now, thanks to it getting close to winter. And it was fine. I mean, it wasn't any harder or easier to get back into it. I did pretty standard routine based on what I'd been doing. And but yeah, so it did feel good to get back into the swing of things there. I think more than not wanting to exercise, it's frequently just the time that I feel like I resent. That's often the excuse that my brain gives me for why I don't exercise. It's usually not about, well, I don't like going. It's more a matter of I just feel like there's something else I would rather do instead. Like, oh, well, that's an hour and a half that if I do that, then I don't have time to do something else, right? Like that's the brain excuse, and it's really kind of a dumb one ultimately, just because frequently what would I do if I didn't do that? Probably just go home and watch TV or something. Not necessarily. I mean, sometimes I do other things, but I just mean it's not like I consistently make a more productive use of that time somehow just because I don't use it to go to the gym. But in an event, I did yesterday. So, pat, pat. Also, yesterday, while I was eating dinner, I watched the first couple of episodes of the new season of the She-Ra cartoon on Netflix, which I'm definitely a fan of, and I'm very pleased with the new set of episodes so far. I'm only a few episodes in, so I'm sure there's lots of lots more surprises in store, but just very pleased with how it's going, and just the show in general has got some really compelling characters that I care about. It's like it's a kids show. It's when I say that, I just mean, it's all ages, certainly. And I think a lot of it is kind of focused on being for kids, but it's still great, like the Adora Katra relationship, which is, if you don't know the show at all, Adora is the mm, pseudo protagonist. It's kind of an ensemble, but like she becomes the titular Shira when she channels the power of the sword and all that stuff. So basically the main character in that regard. And then Katra was former best friends, now antagonists, because she's leading the bad guys. And the it's the relationship between them is so cleverly drawn, and the nature of the characterization is really good, because even here at season 4, like Katra's done some really awful stuff, and yet it's just this ongoing tragedy within the context of the show, because you just see how close they once were, And as much as there's a part of you that wants to see them somehow make up, it just becomes progressively less and less possible because of things that feel true to each character. It's really well crafted, I think. And you just see Katra's own ambitions and insecurities driving her to just keep pressing forward instead of reconsidering mistakes she might have made. And, it just leads to worse and worse stuff, which makes her feel less and less like she could be redeemed, which makes her more and more insecure, which makes her more and more ambitious to fix it, which, yeah. And in the meantime, you've got Adora, who has gone from this point of wanting to try to save her friend and convince her that of the wrongness of her actions, but it's gotten to a point where she's doing enough harm that I have to try to stop her regardless of whatever my previous feelings for her had been. It's good. It's good. I recommend it. I like the show. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for now, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.